Gordy housed Motown's offices and recording studio inside Hitsville, USA. And while Gordy and the artist of his new label were black, he wanted the music to reach both black and white audiences.
He created a pop sound, which he labeled ultimately the sound of young America, not the sound of young black America, but the sound of young America.
On the very first day we started Motown, Berry Gordy sat us down and said, we are not going to make black music. We're going to make music. We're going to make music that everyone can enjoy.
The civil rights movement was beginning to gain momentum in the early 1960s, but at the time, music and society were still very segregated.
Prior to Motown, music was kind of categorized, you know. If you were black, you were R&B. If you were white, you could sing the same song, but it was pop.
To reach beyond black audiences, Gordy initially kept the pictures of the artist off the album covers.
You know, the artists were not portrayed. I think everybody knew they were black. But there was I think a desire on Berry Gordy's part to kind of keep this race neutral.
Motown's popularity was surging while the issue of racism was dividing the nation. This Apollo show took place in 1963, the same year Martin Luther King led the March on Washington.
Well, we all live black and white, yeah. To fight for equal rights. Yeah.
We would go places in the early days, especially in the South, where there was still a great deal of segregation going on.
When we arrived at a place, we were turned away or sent to the back door.
We couldn't use the restroom, so if you had to do whatever business, you had to go off in the woods.
But Motown's music began to break down some of the racial barriers by appealing to black and white audiences.
We played this city in the South in 1964. There was a rope right down the center of the auditorium. Blacks on one side, whites on the other side.
Just a line of white on one side,
and you
black
used to
on the
have
other
people standing up on the sides with clubs, and if anybody got up and moved about or tried to integrate, they'd hit them with the sticks. Smokey Robinson. I'll always admire and love William Robinson for the one thing that he did that stopped a lot of that. And he said to the sheriffs and whoever was standing around, he said, listen, our music is fun music. We want you to back off and don't hit another one of our audiences with those sticks.
After we had been making music for a year or so, 2 years, 3 years, we go back to those same places, and not only would they be sitting or standing together, they'd be dancing together.
That rope was no longer there. Blacks and whites were sitting side by side, high-fiving, booty banging. And if it wasn't for the sweat that was coming down over our face, you could have seen our tears.
They were trying to desegregate the world with laws, and we did it with music.